I used and I drank at the beginning of my pregnancy before I found out I was pregnant. And then I continued to drink wine during my pregnancy at my physician's okay. I asked him specifically and he said that was okay.
My mother drank 90 to 100 days during pregnancy, so I live with many of my own FASDs. I have both physical and neurological disabilities.
Well, I was not about to do anything unless my doctor said so. I mean, that is what kind of pregnant person I was. And I went in and specifically asked. A friend of mine said that I could drink wine when I'm pregnant, and red wine, specifically red wine. And he said that was perfectly fine, that I could have like a glass at night with my dinner. And as a matter of fact, it may help me to relax and to circulation and stuff like that. So not only did I think it was okay, and that's kind of what I wanted to hear, but I also thought, that it was possibly helping.
I have many learning disabilities. I have short-term memory. I have the cognitive skills of a 4-year-old. I have the overall brain development of an 11-year-old.
I was angry because I had been given wrong information about drinking and being pregnant. So I wanted to make sure I told as many people as I could about it.
I had no clue that I was struggling because parts of my brain didn't develop. I was struggling because my body didn't develop right.
I turned around and left, and within 20 minutes, the school was calling me. And he had turned over the entire kitchen area in the kindergarten class and all of the chairs that people weren't sitting in. They removed him from the classroom. He had thrown his shoes at the teacher, so they took him into the resource teacher. But by the time they actually got to the phone to call me, he had run almost the whole way home.
Denial doesn't help, but acceptance and knowing that you have a disability, know where you lie, not only brings relief, but it also gives you a base of where you need help.
Recently, I waited 4.5 months to get into a medical doctor to get some medication for my son. He has a really, really severe impulse control problem. I went in with all of this education about FASD. She asked a bunch of questions. Didn't ask me about alcohol use or anything like that when I was pregnant, drug use, none of that. So when she was finished asking her questions, the assessment, I said to her, I think that you need to know that there was some drug use and alcohol use, definitely alcohol use during pregnancy, and I really think this needs to be addressed. And she said, absolutely not. He's not fetal alcohol.
There's a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of not understanding FASD. And there's a stigma placed on mothers. And when I go out and when I speak, I always emphasize when it comes to fetal alcohol, they're only victims, never perpetrators.
I really wish that my doctor would have had more dialogue or asked me questions that maybe would have triggered some sort of thinking. Because whether or not I accepted it, admitted it, or talked about it then, I would have definitely known and accepted it when I was searching, when I started looking.
Even with my disabilities, because I have support, because we're doing things differently, I've become profoundly successful. Right now, at this point, I'm a 4.0 student, first time in my life in college, because we were able to adapt my learning style to my coursework.
If they had to live one day in my life, and not only just, it's not about me, one day having to live with the way that I feel about knowing how my son has been affected by my choices, they wouldn't. You never know how much is too much. I mean, the research is out there. You just don't know when and you don't know how much, so why take that chance?
You can do whatever you want with your body. But whenever I speak at any facilities, high schools, middle schools, medical facilities, rehab centers for both youth and adults, correction centers. I always ask one single question. Do you feel you have the right to harm another human being? Is one night of drinking or one glass of wine with dinner worth the pain of another human being? Is it worth having a child like me who has so many problems, who has so many struggles in their day-to-day life, that it's actually worth having a little bit of alcohol?